Hey guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So welcome back to Chain of Thought. I'm at the airport right now before boarding the plane to Vietnam, Hanoi. So I don't really have much time here. So I'm going to visit Hanoi for GM Vietnam as well as our own like side event happening on August 2nd. So yeah, recently, I'm sorry I don't have much time for the space, but you know, it's kind of my routine to keep this streak. So yeah, so today, I want to dig into a topic that's as political as it is personal, one that lies at the heart of both Africa's history and also Web3's mission. So, like how decentralization and the cross-border community are inseparable, especially in regions where lines were drawn by outside powers. So let's do a quick history check. Um, the borders of West African countries were drawn not by the people who lived there, but by European colonial powers during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. The so-called like Scramble for Africa and the Berlin Conference of 1884 around like 80, 84 and 80, 85. And those borders cut across Asian kingdoms, tribal regions, and family networks, right? And as a result, today, like you find extended families, entire ethnic groups, and strong social ties running across national lines. So like Senegal and Gambia, Guinea-Bissau, like Ghana, Togo, the Kenya, Tanzania, and so on. So these connections didn't disappear with the new passports, right? They just adapted. So trade and travel and support continue to flow no matter what the map says. But here's the everyday reality. So sending money to your family across the border is still a huge challenge and expense, right? Especially, I think you're pretty much familiar with this. If you're from Africa, right? So sub-Saharan sub-Saharan Africa has the highest average remittance cost in the world. So as of Q2 2024, it says like it costs 8.37% on average to send just $300 compared to the global average of about like 6.6%, according to the World Bank. Um, and in some corridors, the numbers are even more extreme. Like sending $200 from Tanzania can cost as much as like $115 in fees. This is over 57% loss. This one is according to Africa Business Insider. It's not from my direct experience though. And the total remittance flows into sub-Saharan Africa reached like $54 billion in 2023. The number is really huge, and this is directly um, relevant to people's lives, right? The United Nations like SDG target is to reduce remittance cost to below like 3% by 2030. But that goal is still far off for most African families, I think. And who loses the most? It's obvious. It's not corporations or governments. It's the parents, students, and small business owners who rely on these like lifelines every single day. So this is where the true power of Web3 and decentralization comes into play. So let's remember the borders that divide families and tribes were imposed by centralized power from afar, from Europe. And Web3 is a chance to reverse that story, to return agency to people, communities, and networks that have always existed across borders, right? So decentralization is not, it's not just a tech buzzword. Especially for Africa, it means lowering barriers for economic participation and connection, enabling like direct peer-to-peer support, no centralized gatekeepers, and building networks based on trust, family, and tribes, not just on what's written on your passport. This is kind of my personal passion. Yeah, it's more like my personal passion than our official like concept as a Xenea. Of course, we as Xenea, we're taking this matter very seriously. But as someone who's been around Africa for the past like 2 years, um, and to precisely saying, it was like 7 years ago. I first visited Africa, which was Rwanda at the time, because my hometown, the Kobe, Japan, has kind of a how should call that, it's like the city to city partnership with Kigali, Rwanda, and I was sent by the local government of Kobe City to support like a IoT business with coffee farmers in Rwanda. So that was my first time to visit Africa. So this is more of my um, personal passion, like bringing a decentralization to Africa and ultimately like taking back Africa from Europe, from the Western powers. So what if the new wallet could bridge the gap? Let's get back to the main point. So imagine if the new wallet could enable anyone, whether in Lagos, Banjul, Dakar, or Accra, to send money instantly to their family or tribe members in neighboring countries at a fraction of today's cost. Like no banks or remittance agents taking a big cut, no paperwork delays or bureaucracy, just fast, low fee, digital remittance fully controlled by the user. Like, what if instead of losing 8% or even like 57% in fees, families could send and receive money for just 1 to 3% or less? That's not just a technical upgrade, it's a way to strengthen the real social fabric of the continent and put billions of dollars back in the hands of everyday people. This is something I really want to do. This financial inclusion and lowering the barriers for those in need, not just in Africa, but especially in Africa. And I want to be clear. Uh, Whenever I talk about these issues, I double check the fact. So the reality is that remittance costs are still too high, and cross-border family and tribe networks are as strong as ever. Like my friends, my own friends, they all have families in neighboring countries. They all do. My friends in the Gambia have the fam have has his family, like extended families in Senegal and Guinea-Bissau, Guinea-Conakry, you know, like even in Sierra Leone. And decentralization, when it's done right, um, can actually serve the real world needs of these communities. That's what I believe in. So here's my question for all of you. like especially those with roots in Africa or similar regions. So what would you need from a Web3 wallet, like from a Xenea wallet, to make remittances generally useful in your life? What pain points do you experience sending or receiving cross-border money? I want you to share your story. You can just drop the comments here, or you can DM me. I really want to hear your stories. Like, what would you need from a Web3 wallet, Xenea wallet, to make remittances generally useful in your life? And what pain points do you experience sending or receiving cross-border money? And let's make sure what we build with the Xenea wallet solves real ones. Okay. But achieving that goal definitely needs your help. So at the end of the day, I was born in Japan, raised in Japan. I don't have that roots, so I don't really. I can imagine, kind of, but it's just imagination. And even when I go to Africa to see the real lives there in in person, but it doesn't mean like I feel it. Yeah. So I want you to tell me your stories, especially about this perspective. So um, yeah, for today, sorry, no mic requests. I'm at the airport. I don't have much time to keep this going. So yeah, um, actually, I gotta go to go through the gate. Uh, I still have some time, but there's a queue before the security check, so I gotta go and line up with the security check. But anyway, thank you for tuning in to Chain of Thought. So today's topic was like borders cannot break us. Decentralization thrives and real remittance needs in Africa. And like my point was to return power to the people. Like how any wallet can bridge borders drawn by history. Uh, that was my point today. So I'm flying out of Japan to Vietnam. And my schedule is kind of packed in Hanoi, but I'll find trying to find some time to do even a quick ones like this. Um, I'll try my best to keep this streak, and probably if connection is good to in Hanoi at my hotel, um, I'll 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 take some more time, so that like you can come up on the stage to speak, and probably you can tell your story about what I just asked. So probably tomorrow we will talk again. But thank you. And thank you for tuning in every day.